Hi, thank you for being here today. I'm Mark Jason Lagrama, taking up Professional Science Master in Cybersecurity at Holy Angel University. And I'm here to talk to you about our research paper with Mr. Rajil Moleta with the title Evaluation of the ICT Infrastructure Disaster Recovery Management of National Privacy Commission using the COVID and ITIL mapping.
National Privacy Commission, the country's privacy watchdog, an independent body mandated to administer and implement the Data Privacy Act of 2012 and to monitor and ensure compliance of the country with international standards set for data protection. The National Privacy Commission was created way back 2016 of March. As of now, it is composed of less than 200 personnel. It took 6 months for the agency to fill in all the positions such as lawyers, ITs, and administrative personnel for it to be fully operational. As you can see, you may see in the blue box, the diagram illustrates the organizational structure of the agency. It has four offices who's responsible for data standard and compliance, legal enforcement, admin and finance, and implementation of set of policies.
Control objectives for information and related technology provides good practices, process frameworks, manageable and logical structures. For this research, we use this framework to evaluate the existing security management and best practices of the National Privacy Commission. Let's find out.
This graph shows you the brief illustration of COVID framework. There are five major parts of the cycle, starting with the IT resources. It involves application, information infrastructures, and people who work with. The first cycle is information, consists of some data which must adhere the integrity, availability, and confidentiality, including the efficiency, effectiveness, compliance, and reliability. The second is the plan and organize. Second cycle explain the importance of having an effective plan and organized approach. It defines a strategic ID plan down to the managed projects. It should be required on how to assess and manage IT risks. The third cycle is acquire and the implementation, which should involve the managed changes. It should be accepted clearly by the personnel inside the company or in the organization. The fourth cycle is the deliver and support, which must ensure the system security and manage service desk in every several incidents. And the last one is how to monitor and evaluate internal control of each process in management system inside the company or organization. Let's proceed to the second framework, Information Technology Infrastructure Library, ITIL. It was published by the UK government, ensures a consistent best proactive concept for setting up IT service management processes built into the IT organization. This time, I'll show to you the life cycle stages along the process, including roles and tools used in each stage of the life cycle. Here is an interesting picture of ITIL cycle. It has four stages. The first stage is service strategy, which deals with the strategic analysis, planning, positioning, and implementation relating to IT service models. It provides guidance on leveraging service management capabilities to effectively deliver value to customers and illustrate value for service providers. The second stage is the service design. It translates strategic plans and objectives into creates the designs and specifications for executions through service transition and operation. Now let's go for the third stage, service transition. It provides guidance on the service designs and implementation while ensuring that the service delivers the intended strategy and can be operated and maintained effectively. The fourth stage, service operation, which provides guidance on managing a service through its day-to-day production. It also provides guidance on supporting operation by means of new models and architectures such as shared services, utility, computing web services, and mobile commerce. Now let's go for the service design. Under the service design, it's four functions. First one is service catalog management, which ensures that the service catalog is produced and maintained containing accurate information on all operational services and those being prepared to be run operationally. The second process or function is service level management, which helps to negotiate service level agreements with the customers and to design service in accordance with agreed. The ability management is responsible for ensuring that all IT infrastructure, processes, tools, roles are appropriate for the agreed availability targets. IT service continuity management manages risks that could seriously impact IT services. It who ensures that the IT service provider can always provide minimum agreed services levels by reducing the risk from disaster events to unacceptable levels and planning for the recovery of IT services. The last one is the supplier management, which ensures that all contracts with suppliers support the needs of the business and that all supplier meets their contractual commitments. Here are the roles in service design. Must have security engineer manager, desktop engineer manager, network engineer manager, system server and storage engineer manager, application engineer manager, and design coordinator. What are the tools used in service design? Service catalog tools and service level management tools, capacity planning tools, service modeling tools, service knowledge configuration management tools. Now let's move on to the next service lifecycle. Which is the service transition. Change management assess. Major changes like the introduction of a new service of a substantial change to an existing service before those changes are allowed to proceed to the next phase in their life cycle. Next process service is an asset and configuration management. Maintains information about configuration items required to deliver an IT services, including the relationship, release, and deployment management. help to plan, schedule, and control the movement of releases to test and live environments. The knowledge management assists to gather, analyze, store, and share knowledge and information with an organization. The primary purpose of knowledge management is to improve efficiency by reducing the need to rediscover knowledge. Here are the roles in service transition. Let's have security asset manager, desktop asset manager, network asset manager, system servicer and storage asset manager, application asset manager. Now let's see the service operation. The process of event management makes sure configuration items and service are constantly monitored and to filtered categorize events in order to decide an appropriate action. Incident management manages the life cycle of all incidents. The primary objective of incidents is to return the IT service to users quickly as possible. The problem management manages the life cycle of all problems. The primary objectives of problems management are to prevent incidents from happening and to minimize the impact of incidents that cannot be prevented. And lastly, the access management ensures to grant authorized users the right to use on a service while preventing access to unauthorized users. Continuous service improvements use methods of quality control to learn from past success and failures. It focuses on reporting service performance and measuring against the agreed standard to ensure the quality. Now let us compare the two frameworks. ITIL is a framework that enables IT services to be managed across their life cycle, while COBIT enterprise IT governance to generate the maximum added value to the business via IT investments, while mitigating risks and optimizing resources. In these slides, we will measure the coverage of the map information requirements is denoted in 6 different levels. E stands for the requirements stated in ITIL version 3 exceed the requirements of COVID. C. The requirements of the control objectives are covered by the map requirements of the guidance in ITIL B3. A plus stands for many aspects of the control objective are addressed by ITIL B3. Letter A. Some aspects of the control's objective are addressed by ITIL B3, but the requirements of the control objectives are not covered completely. A minus stands for a few aspects of the control objectives are addressed by ITIL B3, and non-applicable or NA, there is no match between the requirements of COVID and ITIL B3. This table represents the collaboration of ITIL and COVID frameworks to evaluate certain existing system management or operations. We will use this approach to determine if the National Privacy Commission is in line with these frameworks. Now, we are going to discuss how we set down the legal basis and infrastatus of National Privacy Commission to consolidate in the approach for both frameworks. This chart illustrates the objective key areas for COVID, including the coverage from ITIL approach. As you can see, the National Privacy Commission released several advisory circulars, policy, and guidelines. This time, Going to focus on the National Privacy Commission side. The NPC Circular 16003 Personal Data Breach Management under the Section 4 Security Incident Management Policy, which was released December 15, 2016, as a corresponding approach for ICT infrastatus, and has a legal basis of creation of data breach response team, which members that have clearly defined responsibilities to ensure timely action in the event of security incident or personal data breach. Implementation of organizational, physical, and technical security measures and personal data privacy policies intended to prevent or minimize the occurrence of the personal data breach and assure timely recovery of incident was in place. The NPC Circular 16-03 Personal Data Breach Management under the Section 5 Data Breach Response Team, which was released by December 15, 2016, as also corresponding approach on ICT infrastatus of National Privacy Commission, which finalizing security incident management policy on the ICT infrastructure aspects, ACLs, firewall, policies, firmware, software versions, and system configuration on regular review. The legal basis in the implementation of the security incident management policy of the Personal Information Controller or Personal Information Processor, including the management of security incidents and personal data breaches. After this evaluation, we found out the COVID control objective in ITIL has a coverage grading system corresponds to the National Privacy Commission under the ICT infrastatus, finalizing security incident management policy on the ICT infrastructure aspects, AACL firewalls, policies, firmware, software, and system configuration on regular review as a corresponding implementation coverage of A+. Personnel are fully capacitated to operational NPC ICT assets. Accountability is given to the highest ranking employee assigned on the NPC ICT infra. Detailed schedule of activities are closely observed to keep system and programs up to date and fully backup, with a corresponding grade of A+. Regular testing conducted every quarter based on our privacy impact assessment by the breach response team is given A. Continuous capacity building for NPC employees has a corresponding of A+. Employee assigned on the NPC ICT infra are duty capable to access the system to call for the red button. Environment monitoring systems are in place and fire suppression systems are also fully functional. Systems are closely monitored for any anomalies and regularly back up. Just given A minus. ICT infra is equipped with monitoring and fully automated backup procedure both on cloud and on-prem through encrypted images. Detailed schedule of activities are closely observed to keep up system and program up to date and fully backup as a corresponding A+. Critical system that process sensitive personal information such as email and procured through cloud services. Cloud services is considered for offsite backup storage. All configurations are properly documented and are kept both in physical and soft copy with encryption and has corresponding A+. Now let's find out the score of National Policy Commission in evaluating under the mapping of ITIL and COVID. The method of scoring, the researchers considered using a qualitative method to gauge the IT experts and decision makers of the agency. They were interviewed. Existing policy and technology in place were also reviewed in relation to the disaster and recovery management. Participation on focus group discussion and observation were also measured through interviews. ITGI denoted the mapping on 6 levels. The researchers also adapted the same levels and made a numerical presentation to quantify the outcome. We come up with this conclusion that the information technology management has a security baseline which describes the crucial role for an organization. Any government agency should implement the security governance in all recognition of risk for every Filipinos. The ensuring of information technology security requires critical decisions, including the planning and financial stability of a certain organization to formulate IT framework to meet the standards. The agency IT security infrastructures represents best practices, concentrating in the possible situation for disaster recovery issue. The agency has set policies, tools, and procedural access to provide data availability and integrity, while the agency's ICT infra with disaster recovery maturity is rated 2.5, for which only some aspect of the mapping was covered. It should reconsider auditing the existing policy, manpower, and technology in place in addressing the necessity for disaster recovery.